Okay, so I decided to do another video right now, and I was looking at all the stuff that we did on a trip, and I think I might do a few mini videos so we can give you a little bit more detail and show more pictures. So I told you about my mess up with the flights, and then so I did the red-eye flight, and I slept a bit on the plane from here to Chicago, and that was great. That was fine. I think I might be able to just prop my phone. Ha! Hand-free. So I slept on the flight, which was great because I had been up since that 10 o'clock in the morning. And then I got to the airport, and I don't think I've ever been to the Chicago one before, but I've done a lot of flying between here and Rochester, which is where I've lived half my life. So I'm familiar with the Philadelphia airport and the Washington airport and the Charlotte airport. Those are most of the ones that we do the connections through. So I usually go from here to one of those, and then from there to Rochester, and then backwards on the way back, obviously. So the Chicago airport was new, but some of the airports have like chairs and benches out there that you can lay on, and I didn't feel comfortable. And obviously I have luggage, like checked luggage, so I didn't feel comfortable staying inside the airport where you're already past security, because I needed to go get my bag, and I didn't want anybody to steal my bag because I'm going on this international flight with all these new clothes that I paid half a fortune for. And yeah, so I went through and I got my bag, and there was nowhere to sit. I mean, there were a couple like seats for wheelchair enabled people, and I don't want to take any of those. I'm gonna be there for hours. So I went up to one of the security guards, and well, not one of the security guards, one of the ticket people that was sort of standing there but wasn't at a ticket counter, and I was like, hey, so my flight doesn't leave until 4:20, and I don't really have any of the flight information. It's an international flight, and I'm not really sure how it works. I've never done one before. Is there anywhere I can like chill out here where I'm out of the way but is semi-comfortable, preferably near a port, so I can make sure all my stuff is 100% charged? And this chick, she looks at me like I'm stupid. She's like, if you're on an international flight, just go give him your name and show him your passport, and then you'll go through the international security, and then you're done. Like, I should have just known that, but I didn't. I figured it's like normal flights. You have to have your flight information. You have to have like your ticket or your confirmation, whatever number, more than just your name and your destination. But sure shit, I go up to the international counter, and we were going through American Airlines. I was like, hi, I'm on the 4:20 flight from here to Rome. This is my name. And I showed her my passport, and she was like, okay, here's your ticket. She printed out my ticket for me and just handed it to me. It was awesome. So and this is at like 7 o'clock in the morning. So, and I went with the Events and Adventures group that I'm in. If I haven't told you about that, then I don't know what I've been doing in these videos, because usually when I say I'm going out with friends, that's, other than Taylor, that's who I'm talking about. But I'm in Events and Adventures, and this is the first international trip that I've done with them, and so we were supposed to meet at like noon before that lady, and then we would all go through together, but that's hours away. So I did it. I went through security, and it was super quick because it's 7 o'clock in the fucking morning. And then she had said that my gate number was on there, but to pay attention because it could change. So I did what any person who's going to be there for hours did. I just sort of found the first quiet spot and sat down. And then I proceeded to watch shows for hours. I think I fell asleep for part of one for like 20 minutes. Then I woke up and I rewound it and watched it again. If anyone's curious, I was finishing the last season of Lucifer. That's what I watched. Yeah, and then I just hung out at the airport. I went and got a coffee from Starbucks, and I got food, and I had already dehydrated a whole bunch of fruit for snacks, and had teriyaki beef jerky because it's the best beef jerky, and I don't have it very often except for when I travel. So I had that, and I don't think I had any other snacks. Oh, I had pretzels from the first flight that I knew they were gonna give me. So yeah, but other than my 20-minute nap in the airport in the Chicago airport, and I just inhaled my hair, and other than the 3-ish hours that on the flight from Phoenix to Chicago, I didn't sleep since 10 o'clock the previous day, and my flight wasn't until 4:20. But it's a 9-hour flight, and then we were going to arrive in Rome at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So we had a full day of things planned. And I figured I would do most of my sleeping on the plane, which I did. I slept. It was almost a full night's sleep. I mean, I got up for the food, and I got up to go to the bathroom. And when they gave us drinks, because I wanted to stay hydrated, because otherwise your legs swell up on a long ass flight like that. Or they might not, but they can. So, yeah. It keeps doing this weird zoom in, zoom out thing, and I don't know how to fix that. So, you guys are out of luck. So, yeah. About 1:30, when I figured everybody else had finally gotten through security and stuff, I texted the host person and was like, hey, where should I meet you guys? Because I've already been through here. And I texted her earlier in the day telling her I'd already gone through, just to let her know so she wasn't waiting on me. And so, yeah, she was like, oh, we're all at the gate. So I went to the gate, but I don't know what any of these people look like. So I just sort of sat by myself and continued reading and watching shows, because I was like, is this my group, or is this my group? Or like, they're supposed to be 30-something people, but they're not all sitting together, because these are all strangers from totally different states who don't know each other either. So there's like tiny little pods of multiple people. Any of them could be my people, or they could just be total strangers that we're on the same flight with. Who knows? Not me. So I sat at the gate for like another 2 hours, and then we were all in a WhatsApp together. So I got the notification saying that we were meeting up so she could give out room assignments, because some people paid for single rooms, some people were like, oh yeah, go ahead, give me a roommate. I said, go ahead, give me a roommate. I figured that's part of the experience, plus they try to match up somebody who's close to you in like age and gender and all of that. So I found a really cool roommate. Her name was Jennifer. Yeah, she's a couple years younger than me, from Denver, and super nice. we got along like gangbusters. It was awesome, actually. I've been home for like a week or so now, and we've still chatted, both in WhatsApp on conversations we've already started with other people, and then I texted her too, so that she could know to open that door, so that she knows. I don't care if she texts me. It's more convenient than WhatsApp. And I've never had WhatsApp before this trip, so I don't know that it's specifically for this trip, and now I have like multiple conversations going on there. It's weird. And I check Signal to talk to my brother who's in Germany. So many things. So yeah, I went over to the group, and oh my gosh, her name's not Jennifer, it's Janelle. I think I called her Jen most of the trip because I could never remember if it was Janelle or Jennifer, because we had 2 other Jennifers on the trip, and then we had Janelle, who was my roommate. So yeah, my bad. She was really nice. And I'm not great with names. So yeah, met lots of people on this trip. There was one other person from here, from Phoenix, but she's someone that I've talked with, but I've never talked with. Like, I've met her, I've known her, I've had the polite conversations with her, but I never had like a real conversation with her before, and that was Kelly. And she's, I think, in her late 40s. She might be in her early 50s, but I'm pretty sure she's not. I'm pretty sure she's her late 40s. She seems about mom-aged, and I'm 30. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. My mom had me when she was really young, so I get confused about other people's moms from my generation. So, yeah. And I sat next to random people on the plane, and I was a middle seat, which is the worst seat, by the way, because you can't lean against the window and you don't have easy access to the bathroom. It's dumb. And international flights are huge, so you have 3 people here, and then you have an aisle, and then you have 3 people here, and then another aisle, and then 3 more people. It's a shit ton of people, all stuffed in there like sardines. I slept most of the time, like I said. We arrived, got our baggage pretty easy. Went straight to the exchange thing. I had taken out some cash, and I got some euros. And that was pretty much it. I mean, it was a pretty easy flight, to be honest with you. I mean, didn't have any big issues. I don't think anybody in our group did. Yeah. So we got to Rome, and we all got our baggage, and then we walked out, and we found our bus driver person, and she walked us over to where the bus was parked, and we loaded all our bags underneath it, and we got on, and me and Janelle pretty much stuck together for most of the ride stuff. I mean, we would sort of go off and do kind of our own things so that we were talking with other people. I've got a braid here, and it's sticking. Now it's not going to do it. This is part of my braid, because I probably twisted it wrong when I started it. And it's driving me crazy because I can see it. There we go. So me and Janelle pretty much stuck together for most of the stuff, but then we would like when we would get to places, she would go off and hang out with this group, and I would go off and hang out with this group. And so we were talking to some of the other 30 some people that were there, but we would also come back together and chat and gossip about what we heard, because these are all strangers. We don't know anybody or anybody's story. So we divided and conquered. It was great. So we got to Rome. I was still a little sleepy. I think I slept. I mean, like, I tried to stay awake for part of the bus ride, but then we were just going through crappy looking city in Rome. So I put my head down on the seat in front of me and went back to sleep for the most part. We went straight to the hotel. We stayed at Hotel 21. It's okay. Beds in Europe are tiny. I mean, I had a small bed growing up, but this was like I feel like it should be a queen size or a double, but then they separated it into 2 beds. And I'm being generous saying maybe it's queen size. I think it's really a double that was split. But it just feels smaller than a single. Skinnier than a single, I should say, because length is fine, but the width just seems really weird. So yeah, tiny beds. And you have to pay for water. I mean, in Arizona, we have laws and rules, and you can't deny somebody water. If you go into a restaurant and ask for a glass of water, they can't tell you no, because you could die of heat stroke. So it's weird to go to a country where they charge you like $7 for a bottle of water. It's ridiculous. Bring a water bottle. Ask if their tap is clean. Some places the tap is not clean and you do not want to use that water. But if the tap is clean, use it. And, we did this a few times. So if the tap isn't clean, you can go, most of the hotels and places you'll stay have bars and or restaurants on the bottom floor. So ask them to fill your bottle up with ice. You won't get as much, but it's better than nothing. And just bring the reusable water bottle with you. I didn't know that. I know that now for next time. We went on a tour around Rome. It was great. I'm trying to remember the things that we saw. To be honest with you, she pointed out a lot of historical stuff and told us stories, and it was really interesting at the time, but I feel like my brain has been stuffed with so much things from so many different places and so many stories that like everything is a little fuzzy, except for the stuff we did in Paris, which is the most recent. So yeah. I'll post the pictures at the end of the video. I'm just gonna do tons of pictures. And yeah, that was our first day in Rome. The second day, we had some time to walk around, but we also went and saw the Colosseum. It was amazing. Like, if you see one thing, go see the Colosseum. Go in it, tour around. Oh my gosh, amazing. I can't even describe it to you. I mean, I'll put the pictures in, but it was gorgeous and incredible. Like the thought that what's left of the Colosseum isn't even more than a portion of it. I mean, the whole roof is missing, obviously, and there's multiple levels above that were supposed to be above that, where it's at, where it stops. I mean, it's not at all the same level, so there's parts of it that stop here and then other parts that stop here, but there's supposed to be more levels even up here and then the roof. And they engineered this thousands of years ago, and I know that they had slave labor or whatever doing it, but still, somebody was like, oh, if we put it like this, it'll last forever. And then the rest of the city was just sort of built on top of it, from what I understand. And then they dug it out. It's insane. It's so cool. And one funny thing, the most memorable part of the whole tour that she said, and we quoted it for like a couple days afterwards, was, so if you've seen the movie Gladiator, you think, oh, tall, handsome, buff. That is not what gladiators would have been. Gladiators, according to the tour guide, said that they were generally short and stocky, and because gladiators were slaves and owned by people, they were not fed the best foods. They were fed on cheap stuff, and yeah, because they were gladiators, they got to drink a lot. Yay for them. Not great for their bellies. They would have had beer bellies like what you see in guys now. But anyway, she said that instead of Russell Crowe being a gladiator, more likely would have been Danny DeVito. Even though I think it's hilarious, because I mean, you do, when you think of a gladiator, you think of Russell Crowe or whatever the fuck his name is. I'm pretty sure it's Russell Crowe that's the main star of that movie. I don't remember, but you think of guys like that who are strong and buff and handsome. But then she's so right. I mean, they wouldn't have been fed the great stuff, and they do drink, so they would have had these beer bellies, and they would have been short and stocky, and they would have looked like Danny DeVito. And that's just fucking hilarious, because I can't even imagine Danny DeVito in a gladiator costume. Don't get me wrong, Danny DeVito was fucking hilarious, and he could rock. He could probably rock the hell out of a gladiator costume, but an army of gladiators. An army of gladiators. That's... I can't even. Oh. So yeah. And then we did a walking tour. We saw so many things, like I said, but the Spanish Steps, way more steps than I thought it was. I thought it was like 100 or so steps. It's way more than that. Way more. And we went to the Trevi Fountain, obviously, but it was so crowded. And we didn't even go during like a busy season. I don't think we went during tourist season, or what they would consider tourist season, because each place has its own sweet spot of time and weather that's considered tourist season. And it was still packed, insanely packed. So because of that, on the day that we were leaving Rome and we were getting on the bus to drive to Florence, me, and Janelle and another girl, and I cannot for the life of me say her name. She's from Canada and she has an Indian name. I'm gonna try. Shakumina, something like that. When I don't know somebody's name, I generally just start talking to them. Sometimes it works. Okay, scratch that. 90% of the time it works. Nobody really notices. So, yeah. So she's 20 and she was there with her mom, and her mom is the ENA member, and she was a guest of her mom's. So, and they're both from Canada. So I'd never met them before, just like everybody else on the trip. So her, Janelle, and me all got up freaking early because the bus was supposed to leave at like 8:30 or 9. I can't remember. And so we got up super early and we walked like 1.5 miles, 2 miles over to the Trevi Fountain. We started pre-dawn and got pictures of the fountain without all the people in the way, and made our wishes, and yeah. And then we walked back and had breakfast, grabbed our bags, and got on the bus. It was a good trip. And I definitely recommend going early in the morning if you want to get good pictures of the Trevi Fountain. The dog's barking. Must mean somebody's here. I wonder if it's my brother, who's better at my music. But that's her. And I will put pictures in here throughout my talking.